Hello, Colorado Springs, and happy Monday. I hope you guys all had a great weekend before the weather hit, and now we are dealing with rain and possibly some snow later. But I hope it hasn't deterred your week so far and you're off to a great start. We talked last time about landlordship and investing in homes that you end up renting out, and we talked about what it took to be a renter. I had a lot of you guys reach out to me after that last video, and we talked about, maybe what it takes to rent now and buy later. We talked about what it takes to become an investor. And I really appreciate you guys reaching out to me and chatting about those things. And hopefully, we will have you all on your way soon enough to your own personal investments. We are going to chat a little bit today about buying a new build property. I wanted to talk about this topic with you guys today because we have a lot of new communities popping up in our city. And so it's become a fantastic option when you are buying a new home to buy a new build versus something that is already built. There are a lot of incentives to buying a new build. Not having to go in and do those upgrades that a lot of the homes in our community require, and kind of being the first family to enjoy a home is really special. And these communities are just great. They're full of great swimming pools and community centers, and it's just a great way to come together as a community and a neighborhood. But there are a lot of things that I would like you guys to keep in mind when you are thinking about buying a new build. You could walk in to any model home in any of our new communities, and there will be a sales rep there representing the community. That sales rep can absolutely answer all of your questions, absolutely can get you on the path to owning a brand new home of your own. The only thing I want you to keep in mind about those sales reps is that they do work for the builder. They are paid for and employed by the builder. So their best interest is with the builder, not necessarily with you as the consumer. So make sure before you guys decide to buy a new build or before you even start visiting model homes, make sure you find yourself an agent. A real estate agent will definitely have your best interest in mind, where that sales rep will have the companies or the businesses or the builders' best interest in mind. And going in with a real estate agent, they can help you maneuver contracts. They can help you maneuver any type of negotiations. And they can also help you during the design process, as well as picking a lot. There's a lot of decisions that go into a new build, and it's really great to have somebody on your side who is counseling you and helping you along the way. So yeah, definitely make that decision before. And it's okay to go to model homes without your agent and tour those. Just make sure you let that sales rep know that you are represented by an agent. Maybe keep an extra card on hand that you can give to that sales rep so they can write it down if you are deciding to move forward with buying a new property, because you don't want to fall into a situation where a builder is upset that you didn't come forward with that information when you toured the model home in the first place. So a couple other things I would like to talk to you about when you're deciding to buy a new house is you got to think about a timeline. A house that is being built will typically take a lot longer to close than a house that is already established. So if you are selling a home or you are in a lease at the moment and you are deciding to go along this path, keep in mind that timelines don't always go the way that they're set out to. So have a backup plan just in case. Maybe talk to your landlord. let them know what your situation is and see if they would possibly be able to be flexible with you if it does take longer than expected. If you did sell your house or you are selling your house, make sure you have a backup plan for your belongings and where you're going to stay until your new build is completed. When you're choosing a lot, you need to think about lot premiums because some lots are more expensive than others. If a builder deems a lot more desirable than others, let's say if this lot is larger or it backs up to a beautiful reserve, or versus other lots that might back up to a busy street or an intersection, things like that, builders will put an additional cost onto those lots. So you want to make sure you're aware of that. Also, construction options. When you are deciding on a floor plan for your new home, if there are things that you'd like to change, make sure you are aware of any cost changes that come along with that. When you're driving down the road and you see those big signs that the builders put out, home starting in the low 300s is what it'll say. That is an absolute base price. Do not assume that you're going to go in there and you're going to get a $300,000 home. It's very, very unlikely that that is going to happen because of the lot premium, because of construction options, because of upgrade options that you might choose along the way. All of those things are going to affect your base price. So my suggestion is you go in with a budget and you stick to that budget. You want to stick to that budget by prioritizing along the way. You want to put your money into those floors. You want to put your money into that kitchen because that's what's going to get you the most resale later down the line. And everything else you can upgrade as you go, one thing at a time here or there. But that way you don't go way over budget and have a lot of up cost added to your base price because it's really not worth it, and you don't want to end up with a home that costs a lot more than you were ever expecting it to cost in the first place. And when it comes to negotiating with builders, they don't really like to negotiate on price. So keeping that base price in mind at all times is really, really important. Builders will often, offer credits, or they will offer different options for you as far as the build goes. But when it comes to price, they don't usually like to negotiate too much. And then we get to closing costs. Closing costs are usually a bit higher on new builds than they are on existing homes because there's a lot of different factors that go into those closing costs. And builders typically push all of those closing costs onto you as the consumer or the buyer. So you'll see a lot of times where builders will say, oh, we'll offer you an incentive by using our preferred lender. We'll give you credits at closing. That's great. A lot of people do choose that option. I just suggest that you shop around for lenders before you jump onto that because you might not be getting the best rate. Let's find you the best rate. That way you're saving more money long term than you are just in one lump sum up front. That's really important. And you'll see a lot of different types of incentives to help cover those closing costs from the builder. But, think through all of those options before you accept any of them because they might not be in your best interest long term. What else are we going to talk about? Oh, inspections. I have a little list here. I didn't want to forget any line items. Inspections. So there are options to have inspections done on new construction. I know a lot of people decide not to because they say it's brand new. What could go wrong? A lot of things can go wrong. So I suggest a pre-drywall inspection at least, which means you have an inspector come in before all the walls are finished. That way they can see your electrical and they can see your plumbing and structural. That way you have an idea going in before all the walls go up if something needs to be changed or corrected by the builder. You also have the option to have a pre-closing inspection. So once the house is done, you have an inspector come out and check everything. That way you're not trying to negotiate through the builder's warranty after closing to get things fixed because, they've already moved on to the next house. It's a lot harder to get them back out to you after you've already closed. So those inspections are really, really important. Make sure that, those things are done prior to closing, and that way you move in and you're much happier not having to have anybody come out and repair anything after you've already moved in all of your furniture, and things like that. And I have seen some horror stories along the way just because of missed inspection items. And that's not something I want to see any of my clients go through. Um, that is some of the basics that I want you guys to keep in mind. I would be happy to represent any of you in a new build project. It's actually a lot of fun. I love going into the design center with you. I love going over the contracts with you and just being in your corner. So if you guys have any questions on new builds, you want to go view some communities, you want someone to kind of jump around with you through those model homes, I would be more than happy to do so. So until next time, you guys have a great week, and I will talk to you later.